Hello there guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. In the previous video, I covered the Gemini weaving technique. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use it in order to make a bracelet. We're going to be making a bit of a thinner version, which is more appropriate for wear around the wrist. Here you can see an example of the bracelet which we're going to be tying today. As you can see, it has a nice looking effect at the top and a different one, but also an eye-pleasing one on the bottom as well. I'm going to be making my bracelet using a buckle, so it is easy to put on and off. First, let's take a moment to cover the supplies needed for this bracelet. The first supply is going to be Paracord 550. For 6 inches of weaving, you're going to need about 8.5 feet of cord, so about 255 centimeters. The second supply is a bracelet buckle. You can usually find these in hardware stores, and for my project, my buckle is a 3/8 inch bracelet buckle. In my demonstration, I'm going to be using a bracelet jig. This is not absolutely required, but it is a nice tool to have. A bracelet jig basically holds your bracelet in place while you work on it. First, you adjust the size of your bracelet and then you clip in your buckle. So one end onto one side and the other end onto the other side. This way of tying is going to make things easier to see. You're also going to need something to cut your cord with and a lighter to melt your cord. With these supplies ready, we can begin. Let's do our basic setup first. Take your piece of paracord and fold it in half. Take the two ends and feed them through one side of the buckle. I'm going to travel bottom up through one side of the buckle. Like this. Now, take the two ends and feed them through the bight. This creates a lark's head knot. Like this. Move to the other side of the buckle and feed the two ends through this buckle length top down. And this is our setup. A lark's head knot on one side and the two ends fed through the other part of the buckle. The weaving process for this bracelet is quite simple once you get used to it. Start with your right strand, pass it under the 2 middle strands, and to the left side. Take your left strand, pass it in between the 2 middle strands, down, then up in front of your first strand. So this is what you should have. Now, using the same strand, pass past the second strand, down, and back up in front of the second strand. So like this. Finally, take the same strand, pass under this loop on the right side, so under it and up, like this. Now tighten up by first pulling on this strand, so the right one, like this, then go through the loops and tighten up these as well. And this is one row completed. All the rest are going to be a bit easier. Take your right strand, pass under the 2 middle strands. Take the left strand, pass in between the 2 middle strands, down and back up in front of the first strand. Like this. Then, using the same strand, we pass past the second strand in the middle, down, and back up in between my 2 middle strands. Like this. Finally, take the same strand, pass under and through the loop on the right, like this. Now tighten up by pulling on this strand, then go through the loops. And again, take the right strand under the 2 middle strands. Take the left strand, pass in between the 2 middle strands, down and back up in front of the first strand. Like this. Then, with the same strand, pass over or past the second strand, go down and up in between the 2 strands. Like this. Finally, again using the cement, under and through the loop on the right side. Like this. Tighten up the right strand, so this one, then the loops. And continue. I'm going to do a number of rows until I reach the other buckle end. So keep doing this until you fill out the bracelet. You can already see a nice looking pattern forming. So this is going to be the end result. I have now lined up row after row of the Gemini weave until I can't add any more rows. I'm now going to remove my bracelet off of the jig and I'm going to need to finish up the two ends. What I'm going to do is feed my two ends bottom up through the two middle strands. So I take the right one, I travel bottom up, like this. I take the left one, and again, I feed it bottom up. I tighten everything up as much as I can. Like this. Now, cut the two ends and melt them. And your bracelet is now complete. And this is the Gemini Paracord bracelet. I like how it looks both at the front and on the underside. Guys, I hope I made things clear enough. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below this video. Thank you for joining me and see ya next time.